Hello and good evening. Welcome to Promise Resource Network. This is Love Talks with me. I'm Jane.
And me, I'm Michael.
Yay! And we get to talk about all things loving and not. Because let's be honest, y'all, loving and relationships is not always easy. It's not always fun. It's not all rainbow, sunshine, and kittens. And sometimes that shit's just hard. I want to talk about this stuff.
Isn't it all a matter of perspective?
Well,
Technically, couldn't it all be easy from my perspective?
Yes, and everything in life is a matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you experience is literally just a matter of your perspective. That's your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. I feel like so this morning I talked creativity and talked about redundancy, and I feel like that was redundant.
Potentially.
Because everything, every single thing that I am experiencing in my life is only from the matter of my perspective. That's it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
I just heard a lot of how relationships can be hard and tricky and trying.
Yes, they can, because to me, that's why we get in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We get in relationships to, one, have a partner, and I think subconsciously or consciously, we get into relationships to grow.
Yeah, I guess that would suck. From my perspective, I was always like, yeah, this is easy. This is a breeze. It wouldn't feel challenging ever.
I'm going to move this up since you're sitting so far back. Zoomed in.
Zoom. But we aren't on Zoom.
We are not.
We are on the Restream.
We are. So we'll give everyone a moment or two to tune in on this Hump Day Love Talks. And as you hop on, let us know you're on here, because that is always fun. Yeah, I think that to get in relationships, it's I want to share a life experience with someone. I want to have a partner to do the things with. And I think every time I'm in a relationship, I'm going to grow. I learn more about myself when I learn about someone else. Why do you get in relationships?
To grow, obviously, to have a common goal, to go for it, to help each other grow and reach that common goal.
Yeah.
Grow on our own paths and grow towards our combined path, our combined goal.
Yeah, and I think that for growth to happen, you need to have chaos. Well, that's like laws of physics and laws of nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's where change happens, is amidst chaos. There's this evolution of growth. It's and that's change. So if everything is just everything is perfect, nothing is wrong, everything is great, where's the space for any type of growth? I mean, it's not that it's bad.
There isn't.
Right.
And the chaos is boiling underneath the surface. And you could keep saying everything is perfect, everything's great. Eventually that lid is going to blow up the pot, and there's going to be a complete outpouring of chaos.
So you think chaos outpours out, or do you think that the newly formed relationship is what is grown out of it, and it's just gross and messy like a baby is?
I think there's almost like a big bang. If I feel if two people in a partnership are acting like everything is perfect, everything is not perfect. No, first of all. So eventually somebody is going to explode, if not both people at the same time. So kind of like the big bang, from that growth can occur. But before that growth couldn't occur, because everything was static, the same, stagnant.
Yeah. I think that also can go in line with things always being bad. If things are always just great, all sunshine and rainbows, there's no growth to that. There's no growth. It's not bad. It's this beautiful flat line of bliss. Just if everything is always craptastic, and say we're holding on to just this is just bad, then to me that's the same as holding on to that's all that to holding words, that it's the same as holding on to everything is just good. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's oh yeah, everything is awful, my partner sucks, blah blah blah, all the time. But nobody's willing to do anything to change it. Nobody's willing to talk about it to change it. Nobody's willing to be vulnerable and authentic to move through that discomfort and change anything. Duh. So we have been reading together. Michael and I have been reading the Don Miguel Ruiz book, The Mastery of Love, and we just finished chapter 6. And it's interesting how it ties into what we wanted to talk about today. So, Michael and I, oh, hey,
What's
Charles.
up, Charles?
So Michael and I have been together since not that long ago. Like we've only been together like a year and some change, and yet it's been a year full of change. One for like me, 2 for you, 3 for the we for sure,
Mhm.
and then a ton for the collective, right? Like so much for the collective. I want to say hey to Sean, how are you? Being married for 17 years with the same one for 24 and have kids, I'm used to the chaos. Yeah, I bet, especially with kids. Kids are such beautiful chaos creatures. Wow. Like you gotta be on your toes with kids, like for sure. Because they if anything, they're just gonna be there to be like, why? Why? I love whys. Oh, I love the whys.
Do you really though?
Yeah.
That was totally me as a kid, and I totally do that to you now.
Yeah, I like
When
it.
you ask me to do things, sure, Jane, but why? And you just love it when I ask you why, don't you?
It depends on the timing that you're asking it.
Mhm.
If I'm like in struggle, I'm like, oh God, I gotta go, hold this, help me. And you're like, why? And then like everything drops, and I'm like, if you would have just taken it, I could have answered why, but instead you chose the why first.
I think I've gotten a lot better about the things that are about to drop, catching them all and then going, okay, Jane, why?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because we've learned to communicate much more
better.
More better for sure. Hey, Sean, I'm curious. You've been with your partner for 17 years, and Charles, I know you've been with your partner for 17 years. How do y'all deal with your partner when they're in pain? And how, or whichever one you want to answer, if you don't mind, how do you deal with your partner when your partner's in pain? And how does your partner deal with you when you're in pain? That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about love and pain in relationships because we're going to have both. And if you live in this world, you're going to have physical pains if you're a human, right? You're going to have physical pains. You're going to have mental pains. You're going to have hard days. You're going to have emotional pains. You're going to have confusion and fears and doubts and all those things that humans have. You're going to have those, and your partner's going to be there to support you. And they may even be the ones to trigger them or bring them to light. So I'm curious if you or anyone else that's tuning in would like to share. And even if you catch this on on the replay, like please put in your comments like how you deal with your partner who is in pain or how your partner deals with you when you're in pain. Because I think it's really interesting and helpful to see what others do and what they go through and what they feel on this. Please, thank you in advance. You ever have on a shirt and you think that it's like it's all right, and then you see it in another way and you're like, I should probably just like not wear that again.
The lighting also looks very different, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shirt looks very different in person.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I want to share a little story about what had happened this past weekend with myself and the Michael. So we were out of town for an event, and it was an online event. Anyway, we were all safe, COVID safe and all that stuff. Before I get into that, I would like to read what Sean says. Sean says, when I'm in pain, my wife knows me well enough to give me space until I'm ready to discuss whatever's going on. Same with my wife. She likes her space also. I'm curious, did y'all know that right off the bat? Or was it like one of you would be sick and the other one would be like, how are you? Are you okay? What can I do? Is everything good? Until the other one was finally like, if you don't back off. Or was it just something that just happened naturally between the two of you? I'm just curious. That's interesting. The space part. I have received so much space in my times of pain that I almost don't know how to receive support that's not just giving me space. What?
It's true.
Yeah. Sean's like, heck no, she and we learned, right? Like that right there. Because like Michael didn't come with an instruction book. Like I know that people talk about babies like this, but let's talk about relationships. Like Michael didn't get an instruction book that said, this is what you need to do when Jane is sick. This is what you need to do when Jane is having an emotional hard time. Like there's no such book. And even if there were, it would change every day. What are you? I can feel you like giggling. What? Share what?
You don't know that I didn't write a book.
That you
Before we
didn't.
met, I may have written a book that was like a Michael manual, how to be in a relationship with Michael.
You didn't share it, so it doesn't even exist.
I didn't.
I know
I think
you
that would be
didn't.
really cool to write that.
Well, yeah, but it would only be good for Michael.
Yeah, but I think it would be cool for multiple people to write them in an exchange.
Oh,
Could you
yes.
imagine?
You know, I think that would be really awesome if enough people did that type of self-reflection. You know, like
That's why-
actually
that's
ask
why-
myself, like, what do I want? Like, I feel I have a migraine right now, and what do I really want? You know, or,
Yeah, for sure.
Because this past weekend we were out, and oh wow, Sean says we didn't know each other that well until we moved in with each other, right, about 5 or 6 years. That's the thing. That's what I'm noticing. Because Michael and I got the same thing. We didn't really get to know each other until we moved in together.
About 3 months into the relationship.
Which was about 3 months in because COVID season. And we were just like, why not? This is working. We like each other with all of our hearts, called love. So like, why not? So the timelines I think are really different now. One, I think a lot of people move fast. Two, people really in most places can't afford to like live alone. So the idea of cohabitation is more of like from a monetary perspective. I know that's why I got married that one time. Wouldn't do that again like that. Anyway, but I think more people, and now it's COVID season, so it's kind of like, well, why not? I don't know. I think that. Do you think people are moving faster in relationships during COVID or slower?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think both. I think the ones that are distancing are slower, and the ones that are cohabitating, or I guess what you would call like quarantining or limiting exposure together, are closer because they're forced into like not going out and adventuring, but like coming into a more intimate setting like my home or your home and spending time together and getting to know each other. So I feel like the couples that are coming together physically in person are getting closer much faster, digging up the bullshit much faster, and growing through it and learning together.
Yeah.
And the couples that are distancing, I'm sure they're also learning a lot in their own way. Like I'm sure they're talking a lot, but it's just different when you're physically close to each other or cohabitating versus being apart and talking over the phone or talking face to face.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more real conversations that are happening now because of COVID. Because it's not like, ooh, tell me about the concert you went to, and tell me about the movie that you just went to, and tell me about this place you just traveled to, because nobody's doing all that stuff. So it's like, what is there left to talk about but like the for real meat of the thing called life, you know? So this past weekend we were out of town, and I had I mentioned this Monday, but I had a huge clearing, a huge purge, and I was able to have a migraine and be a vomit face. It was great. It was so fun. And this was the first time. Is this the first time? No, I mean you've been around me when this has happened before, but this was the first time where it wasn't like in the comfort of our own home where I didn't have to do anything. You know, like it's happened before, and it's like I'll just be at home, whatevs. I can manage by myself, and then like, Michael, can you grab me a ginger ale or something? But being out of town was a whole other ballgame because I was teaching an online class. So it was like I don't want to say had to, but he chose to like set all this stuff up for me, break it all down, load it up, and do all this stuff while I was like running back and forth to the bathroom to throw up. which was fun. I highly recommend. Not, can you move your arm? Thank you. Um, but I noticed that he would say things to me like, "Hey Jane, what do you need? What can I do?" And I don't remember much, but I don't like. Did I even know what to say? Did I even have anything? I think at one point I was like ginger ale.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
But that was all I could even.
Other than that, unless I thought of something and I was like, "Hey Jane, would you? I don't know. Would you like a foot rub?" You might be like, "Yeah." That didn't really happen, but you know what I mean. Unless I suggested something, it was like you didn't know what to say or what you could use.
Yep.
Which is very, like, I don't know what the word is. I guess strange to me, because I know when I am not feeling good, I know what I need, and I'm not afraid to ask for it. Like, I need hugs. I need ginger ale. I need soup. I want ice cream. My throat, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely the person where it's like I've been raised to be so independent that I don't need anything. So when I'm in pain or I'm suffering in any kind of ailment kind of way, I literally have no ground to stand on when I'm asked, what do you need or what do you want? I'm like, I feel like I've been looking into this nebulous of like no words that I'm like, I would reach for something, but I don't even know. I don't even know where to look when you ask me what I need when I'm not doing well, when I'm in pain. You know, unless I'm like actively bleeding or something, when I'm like, Band-Aid, tourniquet. I hope to God I never need a tourniquet. Can we just put that out there? No tourniquet, check.
No tourniquets for Jane ever.
I want to read what Charles is sharing. 34 years married, mental pains, frustrations, etc. I just let her talk it out if she wants to. If not, let her know that I'm here or there for her when she's ready. Physical pain, I offer help along with physical support and offers of what can I get for you. By the time we married, we had been acquainted for 2 years, dated and engaged for 5. Interesting. Interesting. I know, Charles. Charles says, I seen you test the volume of a grocery bag. Hashtag Peru. I know. I don't throw up that often, but when I do, it really. Y'all, like, okay, so I sound stuffy. It's total conversation with Lash, but I sound stuffy. It's because I threw up so hard. I think there's like vomit in my sinuses. I can't believe I just shared that.
That's a bit much.
You know when you share something and you realize that you shared it after the fact? I just did that. And I can't like edit this.
Maybe
this
we
is
can get
live.
like some fresh horseradish or jalapenos to like clear it out.
Horseradish, yes. Jalapenos, no. Horseradish. I would be down with that. Anyway, Sean says, I did learn absence makes the heart grow fonder. Don't rush into anything. Not that I regret anything. It's just something I've learned over the years. Yes, patience is a virtue. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When it's, that it's interesting because, there have been times, Michael and I like broke up, I don't know, a couple times. And as soon as he left, I was like, where is he? Give me back. Where'd he go? I was so bummed. I was like, what in the world did I do? Oh God. Did you feel that way too?
Yeah.
I'm glad we worked that out. Nothing better than brutal honesty. Right? Right? I know. It's great. See, even Sean says brutal honesty is great. See, thank you, Sean.
So that's 3 people that think that now, at least.
Sean, me, and who else?
Me, you, and Sean.
Oh, you believe in brutal?
We just talked about this like over the weekend.
Well, I know that, but
I had this epiphany about being brutally honest.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. I don't remember I was vomiting.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, okay. Charles says I'll send you the massage technique to clear the sinuses. Seriously, if you know that, that'd be great. Because I've been doing all types of stuff, like all types of stuff. In fact, because I was in so much physical pain over the weekend, my face and everything had actually been hurting. My back from all the purging, everything was hurting. And so last night I was asking Michael if he would like rub on certain parts of like my face and my back. And old me would have been like, never mind, just forget it. You suck. You don't know how to do this. Stop it. But what I realized is then like no one gets the support they need. Like I don't get the support I need if I ask for what I want and it's not done the right way or the way I need it to be done. My old way of being would always just like push them off and be like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. Go back to the independent ways because that's the way I know works for me because I can get this myself.
The easy way out.
But it's not. It is the easy way out from that perspective, and it's the hardest way out because then I still am in suffering.
Yes,
then I don't
and
get
the
any
fact
relief.
that you're making it harder for yourself
Yeah,
by not asking for the help.
totally.
But
Yeah,
it's actually easier than like to keep asking questions and communicating through it and the frustrations. I mean, communicating through the frustrations. It's easier to just shut off and push away,
yes.
even though
it hurts.
It hurts more.
Yeah, and I noticed that when I would say like, "Hey," see Sean? I noticed that when I would say, "Hey, no," when you're doing this, can you do it like this and not like this or whatever it was, that the more I was clear in my communication and asking for specifically what I needed to alleviate for me physical pain that I was in, Michael was more willing to try. Wasn't getting frustrated. I was a little bit, but we were laughing about it, which was way better than just plain old frustration. Which was really good actually. But I've realized something, and this goes into what Don Miguel Ruiz talks about in this chapter, The Enchanted Kitchen. Was it The Enchanted or Magical?
Magical.
It is. It's the Magical Kitchen. It could be enchanted too, whatever. But like I noticed that the times in my life when I don't ask for what I need or want, there's this underlying thought form that I'm still playing in, some emotional trauma in my emotional field that says that I'm not worthy, that I don't deserve it. And he talks about this in that chapter. He talks about how this magical kitchen, he's referring to the amount of love that each of us have in our heart. And if I have an awareness of all the love that I have in my heart and I have enough self-love, then I can ask for love, support, help, guidance, whatever it is that I need from my relationship, right? Any kind of relationship, your lover, your mother, your father, your brother, whatever you got, yourself. Like if I don't have enough self-love, then I can't get the relief that I need. Have you noticed this for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you don't love yourself, then you don't know how to ask for help.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like if you don't love yourself, then you can't truly love another, and you also can't ask for help. Which, if you ask for help, the other person could help you with their love, and you guys could bond more. So I feel like every time there is a discussion around love or spirituality or any of that stuff, it always comes back to the I. If you're not fulfilling your own happiness or your own love from within, if you're looking for it from without of you, you're not going to find it. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be able to support another, to love another, to be in joy with another truly. And I think part of what this chapter goes into as well is looking for happiness or love outside of yourself. And when you do that, you're never going to be truly happy. You might feel like it in the moment when you're with somebody and you're both feeling happy or feeling in love.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking for it outside of you, you're never truly happy. You have to realize that it comes from within you.
Yeah, definitely.
And, with that, once you truly love yourself, then you will love yourself enough to be like, wow, my body or my brain or my mind, my heart really needs help. I need to ask. I should ask somebody for support, a loved one, a close friend, family, my partner.
So to that. So Charles says, I guess I'm easy because I'll take all the support I can get. You're so easy. So here's this question, Charles. Do you ask for the support? Do you immediately ask for the support? Or do you wait? Or do you wait until it's unbearable, until I can't do this, until I'm hurting too much, or it's more than I can handle? Like, do you wait until you get like you push on that threshold before you ask for help? I'm curious because it kind of goes to what you were just saying, you know? I want to say hey to Roberta. Roberta says hey. The jar lady. I am.
What is that?
What?
The jar lady.
I just drank out of the jar. Yeah.
Speaking of which.
I know, right? Drink your water.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You need to find your own happiness, she says. Right? Ooh, and Charles says they also have to be willing to give the help, right? Knowing who to ask is important,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would hope that whoever we're asking, if I feel we should always be able to ask our partner for all the support that we need. That being said, I don't think our partner is going to be or should be the end all, be all supporter, giver of all the things because that I can't. He can't. You know, it's like that's why we have like best friends and other best friends and other best friends and other best friends. And we have the partner. You know, that's it's a different realm of best friend. So Charles says, yes, I will ask. Do you ask immediately, or do you ask when you're like up until like, okay, now like I for real need, like you reached your threshold? Roberta's like, do not marry a narcissist. Or a narcissistic personality, right? Where it's all about them, not a team issue. Exactly. And that's the thing, like, you know, I've gone through, I don't deal with much physical pain, and I've been more in more physical pain in the last, how many months now? What? 6? No, not that long.
I feel like it's just
like 3 or 4.
there's like a trend, an upward trend, and it dips, but it keeps trending upward.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't either.
Yeah, like at all. So before though, see what I think it is that I'm clearing out all the emotional pain.
I think so too.
I think that that's what it is. I've been clearing out a lot of emotional pain. The more open and vulnerable I am to Michael and his love, which means in a way open up to my own love and expression of it, right? Then I'm clearing like my energy field. I'm clearing out thoughts and old thoughts, and I'm replacing with new thoughts. And the last thing that changes for our system is our physical body. You know, first energy precedes matter. So I think that that's what it is. I think that I've been clearing all this emotional stuff, and then it manifests. The physical body has to go through its own shift to release everything. So it's been really weird for me to have physical pain and discomfort because I don't, and to be in a position to where I need to ask for support for my physical form is, for me, it's really challenging. Like, it's really challenging. Like, thinking about why makes me get a little bit like fuzzy in the nose and wet in the eyes. Because I'm embarrassed. Straight up. Like I get really embarrassed and almost ashamed. Not that I would ever be shamed by Michael, but I feel embarrassment when I need to ask for physical help. Like, it's one thing if it's like, oh, you're so tall, can you reach the thing off the shelves? Like, I don't mind asking for that because that's just cute because I have the longest arms ever and I swear I can reach like 9 things out of 10. But the physical challenges and being in so much pain that I need to ask for physical support has been a hard thing for me. And I'm noticing that that is common. That's really common. And it's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really sad that I've been, over the past few months, I've had moments where I can barely bend over without like tears coming out of my eyes and hiding that because I don't want Michael to see, as opposed to me saying, "Hey, Michael, can you pick up my shoes for me? Because I can't bend over and pick them up right now." Like that. Why do we do that?
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, hey, how you doing, babe? You feeling any better today? Let me know if I can help you with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And the response I get is, yeah, okay, babe.
I'm fine.
No, not I'm fine. But okay, sure. And then nothing gets asked.
Mm-hmm. I have a hard time taking the next step to actually ask for help. It's like there's this deep knowing that, like, okay, he says he'd be here for me and he says he'll help. And so, and I know that and I believe it, but me actually asking for the help is a big challenge because I don't want to be viewed as weak. I don't want to be viewed as old, as incapable. I don't want to be viewed as all these things. And then I get to ask myself, well, Jane, why would you view yourself like that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I want to check what y'all are saying. Charles says that I have to not be able to get it myself, so probably later rather than sooner is when he asks for help. Yeah, that's like me. It's like I'll keep trying and I'll keep trying and I'll keep trying, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, I just broke a finger. I guess I'll ask for help now, as opposed to just being like, wow, this is a challenge. Hey, Michael, can you give me a hand? You know. Roberta shares that when I need something, um, comfort, love, anything, I don't get any help. I had to beg to get the love I was fooled to think was mine. I'm a giver and deserve someone to lean on occasionally. Well, we all deserve someone to lean on occasionally. I completely feel that. And I don't like that you're feeling very sad, and I also am trusting that you're feeling sad so that you can move through the sadness as well, right? Hopefully. Um, but yeah, I've me not asking for help, Roberta, is very similar to what you just shared. So often in my life, I needed physical help or emotional help, or mental help, and I would ask for it in the best way I knew how, which probably wasn't completely clear and concise by me saying, "Hi, I need mental help. Can someone please help me because I'm feeling X, Y, and Z?" Or anything like that. I would just be like, "Oh gosh, feeling away," and people wouldn't understand it. But anyway, I digress. The sky is really pretty right now. It's like pink over there. Anyway, conversation with Flash. Then people wonder why I would ask for mental health. But anyway, I remember asking oftentimes for some type of help, and the response that I would get would be like, "Well, I'm busy." Or, "What did you do to get yourself in this mess in the first place?" Right? I would get blamed for my discomfort so that I would feel bad. I would feel guilty. I would feel like, well, I deserve this pain I'm in. So why even ask for help? Because wherever I am in this pain and discomfort, I apparently deserve it.
I just pictured this scenario playing out in my head, and it's much like the asking why scenario we were talking about earlier.
Uh-huh.
Where, like, when you ask for help with something, I may have the thought, like, why did you get yourself in this predicament in the first place? But I don't ask that.
Good.
I help you first, and then I might ask, so why are you in this predicament? Similar to when I want to know why for something, and you're like, hey, do you think you could do this thing? Same concept.
Yeah. And I think we do that, right? Like, I think that we're naturally curious creatures. And so if someone around us is in challenge or in struggle, and it's real easy to be like, why? Or like, someone comes in with a bloody finger and they're like, help. And you're all of a sudden, first thing you ask is, what happened? And then what if they say, oh, I was playing with a knife? Well, what were you doing? You knew better than that. And then all of a sudden, the person that's bleeding is now feeling all these ways of like, what's wrong with me? I'm not smart. I'm stupid. Whatever. I'm getting punished and I'm hurting, as opposed to just getting 100% unadulterated care and compassion for like the bloody finger in this example.
Meanwhile, you're still bleeding out.
Exactly.
So you're not getting the support you need, and it's like doubly traumatic.
Yeah, and now you're all up in your head space, and there's no compassionate care. Compassionate care is what I kind of want to start driving this into. I want to say, hey, I love you. Charles says, with physical things, I feel like I've brought it upon myself. Emotional stuff, I'll ask for it much quicker. I see what you did there, Charles. Quick. I love that you do that with your last name. But yeah, right. With physical things, it's a lot easier, I think, for a lot of people to be like, oh, I can't lift this, help me, right? But if it's like, hey, my heart's hurting really bad because my partner's been ignoring me for a week and I don't know what to do because I don't want to talk about it because then I don't want people to think badly about my partner, so I don't even know. No.
What?
You got all that. You know what I mean.
I was ignoring you.
Were you really?
Just kidding.
Okay, I was like, because
your example was your partner ignoring you.
Oh, you're just really funny right now.
I know.
You're so funny. Kimberly says, hey, what about the other way around? What if our partner seems to need support, but they're not asking for it? I found that I'm more helpful when I don't offer fixes without being invited. Do you guys think that gentle reminders of self-love may be relationship sabotage? What do you suggest? What do you think?
What do you think? I'll let you go first.
Well, okay. So what if our partner seems to need support, but they're not asking? That's why I gave it to you, because that's a lot of times what I do. I feel like sometimes it's probably a little obvious that I need support, and I'm not asking. So then, what do you do? What would you encourage? What would you offer your insight to be?
What I normally do in that scenario is just offer the reminder that I am there to help. The first time I usually ask, hey, what can I do to help? And if you're like, oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll let it go for a few minutes. Come back. Hey, just a reminder, I can help you with anything you need help with. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, walk away for a few minutes. And depending on our discussions and me like seeing you, how far in the crap you are, physically or mentally or emotionally, whatever it is, that will be my gauge for how long do I wait to ask again. Do I wait if it's really bad, do I wait 5 minutes? Or if it's just kind of like an inconvenience, maybe I'll wait an hour. I'll check back in an hour.
Gotcha.
And just a gentle reminder that, hey, if you need to talk, I'm here for you. I'm going to go do this other thing now. Bye.
Okay. And you've been doing something that Kim mentioned, the gentle reminders of self-love. You've been doing this lately for me. You've been saying things like, hey, do you want to take a bath today? Because I don't take baths. I only take showers. And like for me, a bath is like this luxurious thing that I don't do very often at all. And so recently he's been gently reminding me like, hey, do you want to take a bath? And I'm like, yeah. And then so he'll like clean the tub out. So to me, that's like a really great way to support. What I do, Kim, is I just hug. Like, there have been times recently where Michael's going through something challenging in his heart, and a mix of emotions are weighing heavy upon that space. And there's nothing that I can do to change those feelings and experiences that he's having in his heart. I can't change it. I can't take it away. It's not for me to do. But the only thing that I can do in that time is to just love on him. It's like kissing boo-boos, right? Like, I'll go up to him more often and just give him a hug and just remind him that I love him and that I'm here for him. So that works. So that's our suggestions. I'm listening on
the trick for me too. Say if Jane's having trouble asking for support and I know she's upset or hurt or something's going on, I'll have those gentle reminders every so often, and I won't get attached to her answer. I won't take it personally if you don't ask.
And okay, so when you don't take it personally, do you also view me in lack if I am in denial or if I refuse support?
No, I just know that you'll open up when the time's right. And when I hold that space and don't hold you in lack and don't take it personally, you are much more likely to open up sooner than later.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like if he thought, oh, she's never gonna open up, she's never gonna ask me for help or whatever, then that's holding me in lack. That's not good. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Thanks for that question, Kim. I really like that. Very thought provoking. Roberta says, I always do get over it or through it, but right now I was triggered due to my having a dentist. Oh gosh, dentist appointments. I had pseudo seizures and then medications ruined my teeth. Oh gosh, I'm triggered remembering why I have bad teeth due to the DV pass. So yeah, it's like we have these things that happen to us, and then people are like, well, it's your fault. It's your own fault. If you would have done this or if you wouldn't have done that, right? And then healing through that, it's kind of like if you've been smoking cigarettes your whole life and all of a sudden you have lung cancer. You're going to have some people there that are going to be like, oh snap, you got cancer, let me love on you. Then you're going to have some that are going to be like, you need to do this and you need to do that and this is what you should do next, right? And then you're going to have other type of people that are going to be like, well, if you wouldn't have smoked for that long, if you would have smoked a long time ago, that your lungs could have regenerated. They're the you should have people, and then there are the what you should do people, and so there are so many ways that we have been treated throughout our lived experience through pains and traumas and discomforts. So then when we get into a relationship, our partners had the same thing. Where your partners had a myriad of experiences with the way they were handled and treated with their discomforts and pains. And then you have the samesies, and you're going to try to come together and have like a working cohesive relationship when half of us don't even know what the I really needs. Relationships are fun. Right? Um, yeah, just give love. Yeah.
Are you reading Roberta's comment?
Yes.
No, let's just give love.
Yes.
That was a big theme in this chapter.
Yes.
About giving love. If you truly love somebody, you just give the love. You don't expect anything in return. You don't expect them to act a certain way. You don't love if.
Yeah. It's kind of like the
You just love.
Yeah, it's kind of like the lung cancer cigarette smoker example. It's like, well, so they have the lung cancer. They still smoke cigarettes. I'm still going to love you. I don't have an expectation that you're going to quit or that you will quit or that you're going to eat healthy or that you're not. I hope for this and I hope for that. And I will love you unconditionally. That's the point that he's talking about in this book, especially this chapter. I cut you off on that. Were you going to say anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay. Charles says, learned a long time ago, I can't fix their problems, just support. Yeah. And that, you know what, for me, that is because I have people come to me for life and spiritual guidance on their path of now, it's like I automatically see like potential solutions, like ways of ease, more of an easeful path or a safer path for all or whatever that is. And so for me to like edit that and hold my tongue and instead offer just a hug or just a loving, compassionate holding of a hand, which I want to talk about that in a second. Roberta says, "Oh, I love the one they would say to me. Well, why did you not leave before? Right? Why didn't you do this before? Smoking is a coping technique. Might not be healthy, but just support them through it. Right?" So Charles asks, so how do you give the love without reinforcing the negative behavior? Yeah, right? I would say making sure to not supply them with the thing. And also trusting the timeline. I keep thinking about a friend of mine who transitioned a few years back. She died. And she was going to die. We knew it. And She was drinking Coca-Cola, eating McMuffins, some McMeal, and smoking cigarettes all the time. And at first, I was talking with some of her family, and I'm like, okay, so what? Okay, so maybe we can start giving her greens and juices and get her a lot of water. Let's get her filtered water and some infrared therapy and 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 this was my first time really feeling like going through this experience. And after sitting with that, I was like, she's gonna die. Like, what does she want? Homegirl wants to sit outside and smoke cigarettes. She wants her McMeal and she wants her damn Coca-Cola. So I was no longer enabling or reinforcing a negative behavior. More so, I was supporting her life in as much pleasure as she could be in before she transitioned. So I would say to see what level of the pain is present and how far out they are. You know, it's kind of like if someone is cutting themselves, you know, I can love them and I can take the damn knife away. Right? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I want to go back to Charles's question
Yeah.
about him saying, how do you give the love without reinforcing the negative behavior?
Uh-huh.
I would say, for example, say you were smoking, and I know it's destroying you inside, it's destroying your body, your mental health, whatever you're using as a coping technique.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good way to give the love without reinforcing your behavior is just to be totally open and honest with you about how I'm feeling.
Yep.
Not casting any judgment or saying you shouldn't do this or you should do that, but just honestly talking to you from my heart.
Keeping it on the eye.
Keeping it on the eye, saying, this, when I think about you smoking, this is how I feel. This is what I think. I don't judge you for doing it. It's your decision, but these are my feelings around it. I just wanted to share them with you. And not having expectations. To be able to open my heart up and share with you vulnerably my thoughts and feelings without having expectations, that's self-love, number one. That's also loving on you. It's literally just an outpouring of love from my heart and me loving on myself enough to share with you and not get frustrated with you or myself or expectations not happening. And then from that point of loving myself, the love is literally pouring out to you, and you're not feeling frustration or judgment, and you're able to open up back.
And then I feel more desire and inspiration to make a different choice. This one time I was doing a lot of drugs on a daily basis and probably was about to kill myself. And someone close to me shared with me no desire for me to get off drugs. They never said, Jane, I need you to get off drugs and you should do this or you should do that. However, they shared with me that they have a standard and that being with someone that did drugs was not what they wanted. No judgment, no expectations. But then it left me to sit with that, to say, okay, well, what do I want to be with this person for this now? And they have a standard. And it inspired me to stop doing what I was doing that then probably saved my life. You know? So, excuse me, that's what I would say. How to love someone through something without enabling them. I want to see what y'all are saying. Roberta says, just love them through it and not enable it. Yeah. I want to say hey to Ronald. Good evening. Happy that you're here. Yeah, me, my I, self-love and not selfless love. Exactly. Yes, Charles says, especially the repetitive negative behavior. Yeah, because I'm noticing that a lot of times, like my own personal like negative behavior that's repetitive are my own thoughts of undeserving, unworthy, I deserve the pain I'm in type of stuff, which I've been recently working through, which is why I got purged so much over the weekend. My body was like, you just got rid of all that shit. Seriously, I think that's what it was. But, I had all these like repetitive negative behaviors in the form of thoughts and beliefs. And having a patient partner is really helpful in that realm. But for real, so if you are the partner or you have one, I would encourage patience, because whatever struggle someone seems to be going through from your perspective, trust the inside of them is 100,000 times worse. For every scar that we see on and outside of a person's body, the scars internal are immeasurable. We can never know the depths of someone's inner turmoil, their own negative, right? Negative behaviors. Like, we'll never grasp any of that. So to have patience and hold that space in compassion, in love, giving them the grace for that exploration, not supporting the negative behaviors, right? So like if I'm sitting here and I'm, hitting my head on the wall and Michael's like, it makes me feel bad when you do that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Well, then he can be patient with me to stop and potentially watch me kill myself, or he can peace out.
Or I could physically stop you.
Well, you could.
That actually did happen to us recently. Where you were having, I don't want to say a struggle, you were having a challenge with something. You were caught in the loop, and I came over and grabbed you and I said, stop it.
Yeah.
And I talked to you for a minute. I shared what I was feeling in my heart in the moment. And something landed because it helped. You stopped and you started to open up again rather than get caught in that loop that you were in.
You stopped me in the loop and you held me.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into, I think, one of the most powerful ways for us to help a partner in pain is touch. And it's interesting because there's so many times where like I'm like in my pain, my emotional pain or my mental pain or whatever pain it is. Mm-hmm. And Michael's like, do you want a hug? And I'm like, no.
And we both know you need it.
Totally. Yeah.
We both know you want it.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. And Roberta says, clone his ass. Andy has a good butt. Everybody has a good butt as long as you can sit on it. Anyway. But like the other day I was having just a big challenge and Michael was like, do you need a hug? Do you want a hug? And I'm like, no, like back off, bud. I didn't really say it like that. Anyway. And then that was it, right? The next day we were talking about it and he was like, I wanted to give you a hug. And I'm like, why didn't you ask me again? And so we've realized that for me, at least for this place and where I am in the relationship, like if he notices like love and touch would be healthy and healing for her, and I want to do that, and she says no, I will honor and respect that, right? That's no consent. But to also ask again. Mm-hmm. And if I say no, it's not going to be as big of a no. It'll probably just be like, no, I'm not ready for that. And then ask again. It might be like, no, but I want one. And then it might be ask again. Yeah, I just want a hug. But like, don't give up. To me, that's a form of patience. There's this patience of being like, you know what, you do you're on your timeline. But there's also this patience with where the person's at and helping them move through it, through this unwavering reminder that you're there for them and that you love them and that whatever pain they're going through, maybe the pain doesn't even need to be talked about. It's like if you've ever had like, say a really bad headache and everyone's asking you, how's your headache? How's your headache? How's your headache? It still hurts every time you mention it. It's crazy how that happens. And if you have a headache and it won't stop, if someone comes over and just says, I'm so happy to see you. I love you so much. Can I rub your feet? Can I give you a back rub? I love you so much. Next thing you know, I'm not even thinking about the headache and I'm actually getting support and love. So I'm dealing with my pain with the support of my partner. Charles says, so when does patience become neglecting your own self-love? I mean, I think that point, I think, is different for everyone. Like if you're a continual caregiver and it's all you do all day, every day, and you come home and your partner's like in that I need everything zone, that might be too much for you. But if you spent the day alone and you just want, your plants stop talking back to you and you just want to love on somebody and your partner comes in and they're in pain, it's not neglecting your own self, right? It's not giving too much. So I think that there's a fine line for everyone from when we go to like overdoing patience and starting to neglect ourselves. I say there's a big space of discernment.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
What do you mean? Why do I say
You're
that?
talking about when you go into too much patience, you start to neglect yourself. Why do you say that? Why do you think that?
Because I think that sometimes over patience can come out as lack of care, concern, or compassion. It's almost like, I don't have so much patience with this kid while they learn how to boil the water. And meanwhile, you're watching them like boil the water over, get burned, get hurt. And that doesn't feel good to me. Like there's no self-love in that. There's no love for others. So that's kind of how I mean that.
Okay. When I read Charles's question, how does, patience become, when does patience become neglecting your own self-love?
Uh-huh.
I thought of the scenario where you keep asking, hey, do you want a hug? And you say no. Hey, do you want a hug? And you say no, and I keep being patient. Eventually, I might get frustrated. And then that is not self-loving. I think that true patience, you never neglect your self-love. I think true patience, no matter how many times I ask you, hey, would you like a hug? You say no. I don't. If I truly am patient, I won't get frustrated with your answer, regardless of what it is, because I don't have any expectations, and I'm going to go about my business and love on myself, regardless of what your answer is. And I'll probably ask again in 5 minutes, in 20 minutes. Hey, you want a hug? But I won't get attached to your answer. I won't get upset because you're resisting what we both know you need.
Well, and I think too that when you ask, it's coming from a very loving place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this feels good. I want to ask her now, right? So I think the action comes from a place of like inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think inspiration comes from when we have the most self-love, we can hear more inspired callings louder.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly says, patience and trust really resonate, right? Sometimes that's not easy, especially when you're seeing your partner in pain, any kind of pain. Trusting that whatever's in the highest good is actually what's happening. That all the pain and suffering that they may be in is what their soul contract is. That this is their timeline. That you're there to be there for them, not to fix them. Maybe you're there to make things easier on their path. That takes a lot of trust for me, because I like to fix things. There have been times when Michael's been in pain and I'm like, I'm going to leave now so you can have your space. Because I'm so independent that I don't need anything, giving myself all the space, which isn't what I wanted or needed ever, but it's just what I've been overly conditioned to ask for. So that whenever he'd be in pain, I would automatically give him space. And even though he would say, the last thing I want is space. And I'd be like, now you're upset with me. Now I'm uncomfortable. Now I need space. Now I'm giving you space. And so he would like hurt more. But trusting that that patience and trust is I think super healing in the world of relationships. What does Roberta have to say? And then I just realized it's almost the top of the hour.
Oh, wow.
I know. Oh, fast. Verse says, I've taken care of a lot of family members, but I feel when I need it, no one's there for me. I'm feeling neglected. Good word. Yeah. I'm bummed today. I needed to be here with you guys. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to speak for you saying we.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
You guys making me laugh and think is taking me out of the bad space. Well, good. I'm glad you're here, Roberta. I'm glad you're here. And, keep going back to self-love. Keep going back to self-love, and I know you love yourself and love yourself even more. And when you feel like you've loved yourself enough, love yourself even more. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you deserve to be loved because you are loved. Remind yourself that you deserve to be touched and be held in the arms of compassion, even though we're in this damn quarantine BS and you may not be able to get it physically, but that you still deserve it. And keep reminding ourselves, I think, of that stuff, and then we'll be more apt to give it. Like, be the patient, trusting, loving, compassionate partner that you would want to be with. Be it for yourself, then you be it for your partners. Because we got pain, y'all. We got pain. Is there anything you would like to add before we wrap this up? No.
I'm good for now.
I am complete.
I'm complete.
I wish that we could like just kind of like hang out on here and just keep talking and just like see who comes in and who comes out and just make it like a total like live hangs.
24 hours of live hangs in the Cribstead with Jane and Michael.
Watch Jane sleep for 10 of those hours. Not really, but like 7.5. Anyway, be good to yourselves, y'all. Be good to your partners and do your best. Read The Mastery of Love if you haven't yet. If you haven't gotten this book, it really, there it is. Don Miguel Ruiz. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. They're good reminders for things that I feel like we just have forgotten sometimes. So until next time, y'all, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And remember how loved you are, please. And we'll see you next week. Enjoy the... Ooh, I'm so excited to see you all next week. I can't wait to tell you all something next week. Ooh, I'm not even going to tell you now. It's about...
Oh, okay, that'll be fun.
Okay, I love you all. Bye.
So long, everybody.